Hello, my dear friend of the Feng Shui. And as you can see, today I have a little bit more to do than usually. We're coming into a really huge chapter and a really important chapter, and that is the five elements of Feng Shui. So, the five elements, it's all about vibration. Energy vibrates, everything has frequency, and everything changes. So, as we said in the last chapter, yin and yang represents different manifestations of qi. But how do we get from yin to yang and from yang to yin? So, the system to explain this flow between those two extremes is the circle of the five elements. And this circle is really helpful, really, really helpful for you to cure existing imbalances or blockages in your house, in your life, and seriously, nearly everywhere. So let me just go to the board and start explaining what I mean. So if we are establishing, we've said that yin is the soft, lower energy, all kinds of qualities. And you probably have now looked up a lot of them, and that's all good. So how do we get now from yin to yang and from yang to yin? To make it easier for you, I will give you two ways. So the yang we now call in the five elements, the highest yang we now call fire. Okay? See it as a quality, see it as a definition, see it as a name convention. Okay? And the yin we now call water. Okay? So we already have two elements. The element that is for the highest yang, the fire, and the element for the lowest yin, which is the water. So the question is now, of course, how do we get from yin to yang as from yang to yin? So from what's quite obvious is that there is not a direct way from yin to yang and from yang to yin. There is no such thing. It's either or, isn't it? It's like with yin and yang and 0 and 1. It's either or. Either we have something burning, either it is in the water. So we already know that we have minimum two ways. We have one from yin up to the yang, from water to fire. And that's what we call the wood state. Okay. So this is the upward movement from water to fire goes via the wood stage. Okay. So then there's another one going down. Yes, of course there is. And there is a little bit more different about that. So the energy going down from fire to water, we call metals. Okay. So we've got four elements now, but I told you it's going to be five. So what is the fifth element? The fifth element is actually earth. Everything that makes everything go round. That's what the earth does. And the earth, oh, it's not so easy to read, I see. Okay, good. The earth, actually what it does is it's been put out there. And actually, as you will see in the later chapter, also there. But this one we don't want to see at the moment. We are playing with this one. So the earth is the element that makes the whole play go round. And just for you to see it better, I will have a little bit of red in it. Okay. That is what makes the whole play go round. So we've got a whole circle right now. And instead of just having two stages from yin to yang, we are having five stages. We're having water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. So these five elements are now, they represent your life in the end. So, and also these five elements represent different emotions, different colors, and we're going into that. So in this way, we need to understand that they represent more than just what they, the names and the elements and the qualities. And as I said, it will be a larger chapter. So brace yourself. There are probably already a few more videos because I will cut them in half. So why did I say that they also represent your life? Well, what it is actually is if you look at that. So this representing spring, for instance, this is representing summer. Do you remember when I talked about the seasonal chi? This is where we're going to at the moment. This is late summer or Indian summer or white summer in some other cultures. This is autumn, and this represents winter. So you see that qualities in the seasons really also are the qualities of the elements. So if you see it as your life, the whole life, so this is how you were born, teenage, adolescent, you're settling down in your life, the autumn of your life, and then you're going back to water after that. So this is how we see these five different emotions, colors, all of these things. And we're diving also deeper into that. If you want, there's an extra chapter that I usually do, and maybe I do an extra chapter on that too about the emotions, because that is fascinating, really fascinating. So what else is it? So here we go. So what you can also see in this circle is all of those different qualities that we want to find are in those elements. And I'm really looking forward to in the next chapters you will see when we're going into the Bagua how we're using that. So what's also within those elements is different shapes, for instance. So metal, for instance, would be a round shape. The water, what would water be? What shape would water be? Yeah, wavy, curved, and a little bit chaotic, probably. So what would fire be? What do you think? What is fire? It's point. There will be like an arrow, for instance, or what else could we say? Like a triangular pyramid, pointy would be the shape here. This one is rectangular. And please, why would you remember that? Oh, what's the Earth? What would the Earth for? It's more horizontal, actually. Okay, so those are the shapes. So why would that be? And how do you remember that? Well, this is the thing. From the water, this is the cycle, this is the nourishing cycle. From the water nourishes the wood, doesn't it? So that in spring, the plants come up. So you've got the seeds in the water in the winter. So in spring, the plants coming up, thriving, growing, like the bamboo would be, as a material, would be considered wood material. And then from there, it thrives. It comes to success. So this one here is your success time. And those of you who are working with the Badwa or this is the success corner. Yeah, exactly. That's where it comes from. So from material wise, everything that comes from oil, so like plastic, would be regarded fire. And then from the fire, so this is this is sales, for instance, also. This is going out. This is yay, success, here we are. And then from the success, we're starting to settle. The earth is everything that doesn't like to move, like a mountain. I told you before, the mountain is considered earth. So it's not moving, it's settling. You're starting to ground more, have a family maybe, build a home, all of these things. This is more in the earth times. It's about comfort. So it's all the natural fibers. So all what is earthy, the natural fibers. So that would be like cotton, for instance. would be in here. And then what happens when you've built your home and you've settled? Well, you want to harvest what you did, don't you? So it's autumn, it's harvest time. So in the autumn, of course, metal would be metal, correct? And it's also the color white by the not just silver, also white. So this is where you go and harvest everything that you've built up. Here you've grown, you went to school, got your skill set. Here you're bringing that to life and to success. And here you start reaping what you sowed and harvesting here and coming to solidity. So this is also, it's metal. So it has to do with solidity. And then what happens then? Well, yes, you're going back to where you came from, going back to the water. You're getting more and more emotional. You want to be more and more secure and close in. That's really interesting. How this really reflects a cycle as such, a whole life, a year, a project cycle, a school year, all of these things. So it's really interesting looking into those different qualities of the elements. And so here we're having a little break before we're carrying on with that. And what I want you to do is think about those 5 elements, grab your pen and paper, homework time, and have a look whether there are objects, let's say on your table, in your room, in your study project that you've done for the last exercise, and see if you can, those objects that you have identified, yin and yang, see if you can qualify them as one or the other element. Just have a look. If maybe it's easy, maybe it's harder. I mean, plants will naturally go more into the wood element, but there are distinctions. So just see if there's objects. What do you think? How do they qualify for? Which element would that be? So I've already given you some indications with the colors. Fire obviously is red. So how and it's like I said, it's never that easy, never that how do you say? A lot of this stuff is really easy, like green for wood. Then here we've got more like yellow, brownish color. Metals white and silver. Winter is black and blues. So have fun, grab pen and paper, and find out objects that you have somewhere on your desk, in your room, on the wall that you've chose. What are they element-wise? See if you can get a grip, and also write why you think it is. And then we can share that and see where we are with that one. Let me know which objects you chose and what elements are they. See you soon again in this lesson, still the 5 elements, for the next video. Bye.